You asked an AI for a book that would change your life. It gave you a title, a real author you recognize, the publisher, even the page number, and a direct quote. You went to buy it. The book does not exist. None of it was ever real, and the machine never knew the difference. This is one of the strangest things about modern AI, and once you understand why it happens, you will never trust a confident chatbot the same way again. Today we break down exactly why a language model invents books, quotes, court cases, and facts that never existed, and why it does it with total confidence. Let's start with the thing almost everyone gets wrong. People assume an AI language model is like a search engine or a giant encyclopedia it looks things up in. It is not. A language model does not store facts. There is no little database inside it with a row that says this book exists and another that says this one does not. What it actually learned to do is shockingly simple. It learned to predict the next word. That is it. You give it some text and it asks, based on everything I have read, what word most likely comes next? Then it adds that word and asks again and again, one token at a time. A token is just a chunk of text, sometimes a whole word, sometimes part of one. Here is the key idea. For a real book, the words most likely to come next happen to be true. If millions of pages mention a famous novel, then the title, the author, and a real quote are the high probability continuation. The model produces a correct answer, not because it knows it is correct, but because correct words were the most probable words. Now watch what happens when you ask about a book that never existed. You expect the machine to stop and say, I have no record of that, but it has no record of anything. There is no lookup, no truth check, no place where existence is stored, so it does the only thing it ever does. It predicts the most likely next words. And a fake book still has a most likely title, a most likely author, a most likely quote, because the model has seen thousands of real book descriptions and learned the shape of one. It fills that shape with plausible, confident, completely fabricated details. It is not lying. Lying means knowing the truth and choosing to hide it. The model has no idea what is true. It only knows what is probable. The same machine, running the exact same way, produces a true answer for a real question and a fabricated answer for a fake one. From the inside, those two runs are identical. That gap has a name. We call it hallucination. And here is the part that makes it dangerous. The confidence. When the AI invents a fake legal case or a made-up study, it does not sound unsure. It sounds exactly as fluent and authoritative as when it is right, because fluency and truth are two completely different things to a language model. Fluency is what it optimizes for. Truth is, at best, a side effect. Think about why that confidence is so convincing. The model writes grammatically perfect sentences, with the right tone, the right structure, even the right citation format. Everything that signals this is a reliable answer is present because the model is extremely good at producing the surface form of an expert. It was just never trained to check whether the content underneath is real. So how do you protect yourself, and how are engineers fixing this? A few ways. First, never trust a specific claim, a quote, a number, a citation from a raw language model without verifying it. Treat it like a brilliant intern who sometimes makes things up to sound helpful. Second, the big fix is grounding, connecting the model to real sources. This is called retrieval. Instead of asking the model to recall a fact from memory, you feed it real documents and ask it to answer only from those. Now the likely words are anchored to something real. Third, models are increasingly trained to say, I do not know, which sounds simple but is genuinely hard, because the model has no built-in sense of where its own knowledge ends. But here is the thing to remember. Even with all of those fixes, the core machine has not changed. Underneath, it is still predicting the next probable word. It is not consulting a database of truth because that database does not exist inside it. Hallucination is not a small bug that will be fully patched out one day. It is a direct consequence of how these models work. So the next time an AI gives you a confident, detailed, perfectly written answer, remember what is actually happening. It is not retrieving a fact. It is generating the most probable continuation and hoping that probable and true line up. Usually they do. Sometimes they do not. And the machine will never tell you which is which because it genuinely does not know. If this changed how you think about AI, this is exactly the kind of thing we break down on this channel, one clear idea at a time.